Hi, I'm Tim Carter, and this is Ask the Builder, and I'm live. I talk about timing. Hey, Will, how you doing? Hi, Jason. Um, I'll be right with you. I just literally seconds ago, hung up the phone. I was on WLIP. I forgot to mention that last week. I didn't look ahead, and I know I promised you that I would let you know when I was live on that Kenosha radio station, and it's always a lot of fun. The reason why is that the husband and wife that own the radio station, Frank and Kim Carmichael, uh, they they run my syndicated column in their Homes Plus magazine. So they're publishers. They're both radio, uh, a hard magazine, like a tabloid newspaper, and great people. I've never met them personally, but I hope to meet them this summer. And the thing that's so good about being on the radio show is often we do not at all talk about home improvement. I mean, they because you never know what Frank's going to ask, and he's such an interesting man. And today we talked about the stain solver lawsuit, and we talked about the ADA lawsuit. He was stunned by it. He had never even heard, and he was unaware that his own website needs to be ADA compliant. And I told him early on. I said, "Listen, you and I need to get on a phone call because it's really serious, and blah blah blah." So we'll see if he contacts me. And then we ended up talking about something we've talked here before. We've talked about inflation and what the predictions are, and all sorts of other things. So anyway, it was a fun time. It's all, and the sad thing is I only get. I think they're on the air for 3 hours, and I'm on the last half hour of the 3 hours, and I've done live radio. I did it for 12 years. Now you have to hit your hard breaks at the top of the hour for national news and things like that. But I don't know if they run over, but I'm never on the show until 3:38. So that only leaves like 22 minutes of airtime. And luckily there's no commercials, at least when I'm on. So we had 22 minutes to talk. So that's what I was doing. And I promise you, next time I'm invited, the day that I get the invite, I will announce it on that live stream, and you can put it on your calendar. And you can listen to it because you can just go to WLIP.com. And just like I'm live streaming right now, they live stream all their radio broadcasts. All right. Lorene, hello. How are you today? It's great that you're here. I have some news from Steve. We are going to do, so put this on your calendar. There's going to be no live stream this Friday because we're doing the Zoom call. So that's fun. I'll be reaching out to everyone. So it's going to be this Friday at the same time. Steve said 4 p.m. Eastern time works good for him. So I'll send out the invites. It's going to be a lot of fun. I cannot wait for that. Anyway, so if you are, there's Jason again. If you are new to the stream and you have a YouTube account, you are able to type into the, hi Louise. We're going to talk about underground utilities in just a minute. If you're new to the stream and you do have a YouTube account, you then are able to type into the chat and ask me a question about anything. I really don't care what it is, because your questions are the roadmap of the live stream each day. And otherwise, I just start to babble on about crazy stuff. And sometimes I think that might be boring to you. Let's talk a little bit right now, real quickly, because I've been bad at this. I don't jump into the topic right away that the live stream's titled. So, underground utilities. This is the true story. This is so crazy. This is early in my career. I was probably only 20. Oh gosh. Hey, how you doing, Ridwan from Belgium? That's great to have you here. Wonderful that you're. We might have a neighbor of yours here in a few minutes, Steve from the UK. Steve's a regular when he's not working. So there's the crutch word. So I was probably. I can actually tell you how old I was. I was probably 27, 28 years old, still really wet behind the ears, We got called in to salvage a room addition job that went bad. And part of what we had to do is we had to we had to tie into the sewer line and extend a new sewer line up to this room addition. Why I decided to do it out at the street, I'll never know. Doesn't make any difference. We had a friend of ours who had a backhoe. He would let us have it. I just start digging. I look up above and I see that all the utilities are up above, the electrics. I thought, oh, I'm not going to hit any electric lines. Never called underground utilities. I start digging and I clunk. I go, clunk. I wonder what that is. Anyway, I just missed digging through this giant water main. It's like crazy. All right. And as we continued the trend, we then called up the utility people. They did come out and they marked the utilities. Even though they marked the utilities, as I dug up through the yard, I ended up severing the gas line because they mismarked it by a couple of feet. But due to my inexperience, we should have, when we got that close to the machine, it should have been hand dug. Here's what you need to know about underground utilities. The problem is even the pros, they make mistakes all the time. The internet is littered with stories about homeowners. Get this can happen all the time. Homeowners decide to put in a new mailbox and they just think, oh, no problem. I'm going to put the mailbox right here, right by the street. They get their post hole digger out. Some people even go to the tool rental place, get one of those powered ones, and they start digging a hole. And they cut through telephone lines. They cut through buried cable lines. It's horrible. Here's what you have to do. Here in America, you have to call a simple phone number, 811, and give them 48 hours, and they will come out and they're going to mark where all the underground utilities are. Now, understand that they're close. So anytime you're within 3 feet of those markings on the pavement or on the lawn, you better switch over to digging with a hand tool, and you better take small bites. And I'll give you an example of what happened in where I lived in Cincinnati. We had the cable company was Time Warner at the time. That's what they were named. I have no idea what they're called now. Who knows? Who cares? Doesn't matter. They had a habit of burying the cable. You would think normally that you should bury any utility at least 2 feet deep. I mean, that's the safe thing to do. They would bury their cable TV lines, their drops that go from the street back to the house about 4 inches deep. All that the guys would do, it was just a joke. They would take a shovel and they would take a round point shovel, push it into the soil, and then push the dirt out. The shovel would only go in about 5 inches. And then they would make this really crazy trench, put the wire in, and then come back and step on the grass. They wouldn't dig it up completely. In other words, just put the shovel in and then push it forward, and the sod is still attached. And so all the cable TV lines are about 5 inches deep. And, what a shame. Crazy. Will wants to know if you called, do they charge? No, the charge is free. They will come out for free. And just make sure you have them mark it on your private property too, that they don't, that you need to admit, them to mark what you want marked, because they need to understand where you're going to dig at. It's that simple. And you'll save them a lot of time and effort. And they typically mark things in different colors so that you can discern what things are. For example, water lines, they'll typically mark in blue. Gas lines are marked in yellow. They have colors for things. And you can go online and you can see what those all are. There's standards for all of that. But for the love of God, if you're going to dig on your property or dig out near the street, just call 811 and just call them 3 days ahead of time. Give them 3 days notice and they'll be out. They're very good. It's a very, very good service. When you pay your normal electric bill and your normal gas bill and water bill, a very tiny portion of what you pay is funneled off for this service. That's why you don't get sent a bill, for using the service. Simple as that. Once again, if you're new to the stream and you have a YouTube account, you are able to type into the chat and you can type in a question. I don't care what you ask me. It doesn't have to be about underground utilities. You can ask me about plumbing. You can ask about roofing. You can ask about foundations. You name it, I'll answer it. I'll do my best. Simple as that. Let's see what else I wanted to tell you. This is really kind of important. I'm going to cover this a little bit in my upcoming newsletter next Sunday. But I got an email today, maybe 3 hours ago, from a frustrated subscriber of mine. And I get these emails somewhat frequently. And to this one's, and I don't know that I've used them in the past as a teaching moment, but for sure I'm going to use it this Sunday. And it'll just be a really brief teaching moment. This person was frustrated because they were trying to buy my entire digital library that I have on sale. Normally it's $1,250, and you can buy it right now for $50. All right. So he wanted to take advantage of that. So he goes to the cart. It's not working right or whatever he claims. He doesn't describe, doesn't matter. I like saying that a lot. Have you noticed that? It doesn't matter. And it's because it doesn't matter. And when I get those emails, I just chuckle because he's only seeing one part of it. He's only seeing what's happening at his end, but he is unaware of what's happening at my end, where I see every 2 or 3 minutes an order come in. Because every time somebody places an order, I get sent an email. It goes into a special box of its own. It lights up on my email program. So that tells me, well, if I'm getting these emails, the cart must be working because someone placed an order, it went through, and the cart sends me the email. But he jumps on my case saying, you better fix all your stuff, blah, 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 blah. He gets all excited. And I'm just kind of laughing. I don't get offended by it, but I'm just laughing going, John, his name was John. I go, John, stop. Like, don't always just assume that the trouble is with me. All right. So, so I'll use it as a teaching moment. I sent him back a very pleasant email and told him, I said, I just checked and there's nothing wrong and there hasn't been anything wrong. I said, so it could be that you've not turned off your computer in a while. And that's another thing. Did you know that? Did you know you need to turn off your computer completely? Like turn it off as if there's a power outage and leave it off for 5 or 10 minutes. You need to turn off your phone every other day or every day. Completely turn it off. Because if you don't, the RAM memory chips in these devices and in your computer, it's like they drink 2 or 3 amarettos, man. And they're like, pooh, what's going on? So if you wonder why your computer starts to get a little slow or things aren't happening the way you want, just turn your flipping computer off. And when you turn it back on, magic's going to happen. I'm telling you. And you should do the same thing with your router, your wireless router, and you should do the same thing with your cable modem once a week. You should turn those things completely off. Unplug them. Let's get caught up on the comments. Lorene says 811 is not universal. You may need to dial a local number or go to a local website. True, could be. So I would go to a search engine and type in underground utilities for your town and see what it says. Louise. Louise, don't worry, man. You don't have to apologize. If you have a question about plumbing or roofing, ask me. I'm ready. Exactly, Jason. Rebooting fixes, 90% of problems. Exactly right. And the longer you leave off your computer or your phone, the better. And I mean, not just 30 seconds. Leave it off for 5 minutes. Let the electronic components cool down. I turn my phone off every night. I mean, for a couple of reasons. Number one, even though it's got such modern technology and it knows not to ring or do anything between certain hours, I don't care. I don't want to be bothered. I mean, I go back to the old days when there were no answering machines. It's like if there's an emergency, if somebody in the family dies, I can find out about it tomorrow when I'm awake and lucid. Simple as that. All right, here we go. Lorene, another helpful tip is when you turn off the computer, take off the power cord and hold the power button for 5-10 seconds. It does just show. Oh, that's an interesting tip. I did not know that. Thank you. All right, Louise wants to know, how's roofing, plumbing? Roofing and plumbing are good. On a personal level, The plumbing is so-so. I'm sorry, I couldn't resist. That's what happens when you're going to be 70 in a few months. Uh, no, there's nothing in this drink here. There's no. It's completely legal. Roofing, though, Louise, roofing here right now in the Northeast, where I live. I live in New Hampshire. You may know that. There are people that are suffering. We've got a lot of cold weather. We've had some snow. Will tell you he's in South. He's in. I'm not going to say down East Maine, but he's in Western Maine. There are people that are having ice dams on their home, on the roof, and causing lots of damage. It typically will happen with more snow, and it's a big issue. And the sad thing is that a lot of homeowners don't realize those leaks can be prevented if the roofers would just tell the homeowners when they're getting ready to put a new roof on, like, oh, by the way, did you know we can put this membrane on? And if you get an ice dam, you're not going to have a leak. And, the membranes are a little expensive. They're not deal breakers for most people, but when you think of what you might have to pay and a deductible on your insurance policy and the aggravation of having a big leak, it's well worth it. That's all I can tell you. All you have to do is type ice dam, 2 words, ICEDAM, in the search engine at askthebuilder.com and read all about it. I've got at least 3 or 4 videos about it. I show you what they are. They're we talked about it last week. If you don't want ice dams on your roof, you just got to get the snow off. You get the snow off, then the ice dams can't form, because what's feeding the ice dam is the snow that's melting, and the water comes down the roof and hits that cold gutter or the cold roof edge. Boom, instantly freezes. I know, Lorraine, too much information. I know. It's what happens to us old guys, man. Although, get this. I'll just share this. I tell you that every now and then I'll share, personal information with you. I think it's a good thing to do. I never got to meet my paternal grandfather. I barely have a little memory of my paternal grandmother just before she passed away. But my paternal grandfather, he was 70 years old when my dad was born. All right. This is before World War II. I'm sorry. It's before World War I. There were no magic blue pills, but my grandfather was a country veterinarian, and I'll never know. I mean, unless I get to talk to him up in heaven. Maybe don't ever underestimate the Indians. All right, the Native Americans. I'm thinking that the Native Americans somehow they found a plant out in the woods that when they chewed on it or made tea with it, magic happened. Like, whoa, that hasn't happened in years. I'm sorry, I'm having a blast. It's possible my grandfather knew about this magic plant out in the woods, and he chewed some one night, and magic happened. The Bengals. Oh, I watched that game. What a game. Are you kidding me? And they beat the number 1 seed. All right. I hope that Zach Taylor, the coach, once they settled down a little bit, got that through into the heads of the players. Like, hey, guys, are you aware that you beat the number 1 team in the AFC? So that kind of makes you the number 1 team right now. I mean, that's the kind of confidence you need going into big games like that. Sunday's game is going to be amazing. It's going to be a really good game. So yeah, I still root for the Bengals. Although what happened is, on a personal level, I had not watched football for 2 years. My wife and I, my wife used to love football. We became Patriots fans. And of course, we got to watch the Patriots the last 12 years when, boy, they're almost unbeatable. But as soon as the National Football League woke up, that was it. I'm done. I'm done with you. I'm done with you. It's like, I actually wrote a personal letter. I wrote a handwritten letter to Robert Kraft, the owner of the Patriots, chastising him for doing that. He doesn't care. He's a billionaire. Yes. Yes, Lorraine, native. Yeah, here's what's really bad. If you watch, we'll probably talk about this on Friday on the Zoom call, the Plandemic movie. But a lot of people don't know this, that John D. Rockefeller, the original one, not the son, that he basically started Big Pharma, and he basically took over the medical schools. And prior to that happening, there was a lot of homeopathic medicine was what was really pushed. Because I mean, my mother was a pharmacist, and she told me when I was small that many of the drugs came out of derivatives of plants. Which amazed me. All right, so as a little guy, a little kid, John D. Rockefeller got rid of all that because he discovered early on, because he was the one who, John D. Rockefeller, Standard Oil Company. I mean, do you realize that most pharmaceuticals are made from oil? A lot of people don't know that. So he wanted to corner the market both on oil but also on medicine. He was a smart guy. I mean, that's why the whole shamdemic has been so powerful, because as soon as you start talking to people about their health, you cast a spell on them. Meaning, if you are a shaman in an old tribe, or you're a medicine man in a Native American tribe, and you have the power over someone's life or death, that's big juju, man. That's big juju magumbo. It's very powerful stuff. And our overlords have been playing you the past 2 years with that, man. Scarcity. They've been making life scarce. But we've turned the corner. It's coming back to bite them. As Steve told us last week, look what happened in the UK. They kicked all that stuff to the curb. Ireland did it, I think, on Friday. It's starting to happen. So anyway, lots of interesting stuff out there that a lot of people don't know about. And much, beyond home improvement. I mean, beyond home improvement. Remember, if you're new to the stream, and you've got a YouTube account, you can chat me. You can say something. You can talk about my messed up hair. You can you can ask a question about anything about your home. That's why I'm here. I'm doing the live streams primarily to help you with your home, and also to hopefully do it in a fun and entertaining way. All right, because I've got a quirky personality. I know that. All right, so no fear of the flipping camera, man. I don't have any fear. My Kathy's the exact opposite. She hates him. I mean, hate him. Any questions? Put them in the chat. We're missing Shannon. We're missing Steve. We're missing Andrew. A lot of regulars not here today. That's okay. They got other stuff going on. But let me share. I will go grab another email. Got some pretty interesting emails over the weekend, at people with their houses. And, I like sharing them with you because, a lot of them are really good teaching moments. And let me pull one up here that's really a good one. I should have had this done ahead of time. I apologize for not having it pulled up. But here we go. This one's from a little bit ago. It's from Mary, and Mary lives. So Will, she might live close to you in Frankfort, Maine, wherever that is. And she asked a really simple question, but it's a really good question. But I thought it was tough. She said, "What is the best interior wall covering?" And then she puts in parentheses, wallboard, which is drywall, tongue and groove, which would be wood, or none at all. And she's talking about for a camp that will be unheated in the winter. All right, so that's a good question. So here's what my answer was to her. I said, Mary, tough question. Drywall does great, but if you don't put on the mud right, that's the joint compound that's like cake icing, that where you tape the seams. I said the tape will peel. And I said wood, tongue and groove can be somewhat dark. And all I was saying there was that when you have a lot of wood, even if you stain it a light color or leave it natural, it can be a little overwhelming. Then I told her that it's really worth a conversation on the phone, but she just 99 out of 100 people, when I tell them that, I go, we really should talk about this on the phone. It's not that I'm trying to get $50 out of them. It's just that there's so much to type. I can't sit here and type all this stuff just for you. So she didn't take me up on it, but I if it was me, I would just put wood in. And many of these old camps, both here in New Hampshire and I suspect in Maine, it's the same thing. They've got a lot of wood in them. That the walls and the ceiling might be wood, and that's not a bad idea. Let's see. Here's one from Michael. Let's see what Michael had to say. I think I kind of remember this one. This is a great one. So this is Michael, and he was from Montclair, New Jersey. And he said, can we put in a toilet 16 feet from the stack? So my answer was simple. I just said, yes, you can, but it needs to be done correctly. And, same thing. It would take me 15 minutes to type out everything that he needs to know. I can talk a lot faster than I can type. And I've been doing this so many years that if I type back just a few little things, just give them just a barely amount of information, they always email back with 3 questions. Well, what about this? How do I do that? What about this? And they're just looking for free information. So it's like, well, then go out and get the free information. My time's more valuable than that. Same thing. I gave them the link to set up a phone call. Never did it. So anyway, let's see if there's some stuff in the chat. Nope, nothing in the chat. Oh, yes, there is. There is. Gucci says, Rainham, silk clay loam soil. You have had experience of soil in regards to yes, I have. Yeah. Absolutely. Been a master plumber since 1981. I will try to anticipate what you're asking me. What happens is the way it's dealt with here where I live in New Hampshire is that the leach field, where you typically could have a problem where the soil doesn't pass the perk test because there's too much silt in it, and is what happens is they just dig out 2-3 feet of that soil where the leach field's going to go. They just get rid of it. I mean, an excavator machine could have it dug out in a half an hour, and then they just bring in maybe, I don't know, 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 cubic yards of sand, medium sand, and they just dump it where the soil used to be, level it off, put the leach field pipes in, wait for the inspection, for the inspector to see it, and then cover up those pipes with more sand and maybe 6 inches of soil so they can grow some grass. So it's not an issue if you just decide, let's just get rid of that soil and bring in some sand. It's that simple. Because once the effluent comes out of the septic tank and it gets into the distribution network in the leach field, it generally only has to pass about 6 inches to 12 inches through the sand to become purified. It doesn't have to go far. There's enough microbes in the sand that eat up all the bad stuff. Simple as that. I hope that answers your question. If you happen to have a question about septic systems or roofing or drywall or gas lines or paint, in fact, paint, I mean, like for example, do you want to custom mix colors in paint? Well, guess what? You can do it. That's just red paint and yellow paint. And if you blend the different ones together in different quantities, you're going to get orange or some variation of orange. So you can custom blend paint. Why am I doing that? Because this week I'm going to paint this bad boy. All right. And I'm going to get the green right this time. So anyway, I talked about that little truck in my Sunday newsletter, and I got a really great response yesterday morning from a gentleman. I don't know where he lives. It doesn't matter. I keep saying it. And he was so happy to see me talk about restoring this Matchbox toy, because he said just recently he had purchased a 60-year-old Triumph motorcycle with a sidecar. It used to be his favorite toy when he was a young man. Isn't that exciting? So he was so happy to get this little motorcycle and a sidecar on eBay. And I asked him to send me a picture. I don't know if he is or not. But, just we shouldn't have thrown away all our toys. Hey, I'm doing good. I don't know that we're related. Are you the brother that I didn't know about? I thought I only had a sister, and she and I are estranged. I'm doing great. But because you put everything in types with all those exclamation points, I think you might have had too much coffee today, or maybe you need to stop drinking so much Coca-Cola or whatever, man. Jeez, stop that sugar. Okay, if you've got a question about your home, put it in the chat. I have lots of skills in magic, but I'm not clairvoyant, unfortunately. I wish I was some days, but I'm not. All right, we're going to go back to the email because that's fun. It's fun to look at these emails. I'm always surprised at these people that go, no, man. I'm going to take a chance. I'm going to take a chance on putting the toilet in and hope it works. I don't want to pay you $50. Okay, all right, man. Good luck with that. Oh my gosh. Let's see what Roger had to say. Some of these go back. I can't remember all of them. Oh, this is going to be a good one because my answer was one word. Wait till you hear what my answer is. This is Roger down in Knoxville, Tennessee. He goes, the lot I purchased has trees that need to be removed. The builder is saying I need to pay for that service. Wouldn't tree removal be part of the lot preparation line in the builder's budget? That's a great question. Oh my gosh. What do you think my answer was? It's got 5 letters in it. Maybe. So there's the crutch word. When you do autopsies on this, so you know what happened here, right? You know what happened here. So Roger signed a contract with this builder. They're getting ready to start, and the builder comes to Roger and says, "Hey, I got to cut some trees down, man, to build your home. You got a lot of trees here. That's gonna be an extra. I don't know. Make up the number. I don't care what it is. 3,000, 5,000, whatever." And so Roger goes. He just recoils, like, "What? Are you kidding me?" I mean, you can just see that. You can see all that in that question. So what mistake did Roger make that I don't want you to make? All right, come on. This is not hard. What mistake did Roger make? So Lorene says, I'll bet the tree removal is separate. All right. I know you're thinking, I'm going to just tell you the answer. When when you decide to enter into a contract, okay, let's see. If you're buying a lot from the builder in a subdivision, I would think it would be included, but on your own lot, it would be separate. Correct. That's exactly right. Here's the bottom line. When you decide to enter into a contract with a builder to build a home, to build a room addition, to remodel your kitchen, remodel a bathroom, it doesn't matter. Nothing can be left to chance. Nothing. And what that means is you need to describe you need to put in writing every single thing that you think that you're getting for the money that you're going to pay the builder. That's a much easier thing to do remodeling a bathroom than it is when you're building a new home. And in Roger's case, he did not do that. Roger did not have, see, in other words, Roger should have had plans. So I sell these in my shopping cart. You can actually buy from me a PDF set of plans for a new home. You're not going to build that new home. That's not what the plans are about. The plans are to show you how complex and how detailed your plans should be. The average set of plans that people get to build a home are 7 pages. The plans that I sell that were drawn by a really good architect, I think they're 28 pages. And you might think, what in the world could you possibly show on the other 21 pages? Oh, a lot of stuff. And then your contract, and in addition to these 28 pages of plans, there's probably should be written specifications that are 50 or 60 pages long. And in Roger's case, like early in the specifications, because you itemize the specs the way the house is built. And so lot preparation would be one. It might be lot preparation and utilities. And so there would have been just one simple line that says builder needs to cut down and remove the trees, or you just describe what you want done. Meaning if a bunch of them are oak trees and you want them saved for firewood, then you put that in. You say, you just describe what you want done. You have to put it in writing. You can't hope that the trees are going to get cut down. And you have to have all of this stuff done. You have to have 28 pages of plans. You have to have all these written specifications. I sell them all, by the way. You can actually buy specifications from me. And then you hand these to the builders who are bidding the job. And you do the same thing if it's a room addition. You do the same thing if it's a kitchen remodel, the same thing if it's a bathroom model. If it's a bathroom model, your plans are only going to be 1 page long, maybe. It's just going to show the floor plan and a couple of elevations of each of the 4 walls in the bathroom. How hard is that? You can almost hand draw it. And then your specifications might only be 2 pages long, where you tell them you're going to put in a Kohler model XYZ toilet that's in baby blue. You're going to put in an Oakcrest vanity model 1265J. You're going to put in a granite countertop with an undermount sink, an undermount Kohler sink model, blah, 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 blah. See what I mean? In other words, you have to specify everything. The only thing you should hope for is what the weather's going to be tomorrow. You have to have everything in writing. That's where Roger made his mistake. All right, let's see if I can get caught up. Will, he should have a wood stove and keep that wood. Exactly right. That's exactly right. Bob Walker, let's ask first. I don't know what that means. Probably something in context of what I was talking about. Anyway, crutch word. Let's do more email because no one's asking any questions. I have to compliment you. I really do. You have perfect homes. I get so many emails from people who have so many problems. And here you have no problems in your home. You have no idea how lucky you are. You're absolutely amazing. I'm serious. All right, here we go. Let's get another one out. That was a good one, Rogers. Boy, I got a lot of good stuff in my email. There's so much good stuff. Let's see. This one I've got a red mark by it. So this might be an important one. Oh, okay. This is from Dean. And Lorena, if you're still here, you might know where this is. He's from Little Chute, Wisconsin. I mean, that can't be a big town. I've never heard of that. Little Chute, Wisconsin. Maybe it's where they practice bobsledding, because I think those guys go down a chute. Simple question. Hi, Tim. I'm remodeling my home. Excuse me. I want to build that's what he says, I want to build my own window sash casings for single hung or double hung window. My question is, why can't I find anything on the internet to make the box casing? There are hundreds of videos on how to make the window frame, but not on the box casing that the windows go into. I think what he means is the sash, is what I'm guessing. He does say this, he says, I want to build my own windows sash casings. And the window sash is the thing that the glass rests in. The sash, for example, the term sash, when it comes to windows, what it means the part of the window that moves. So in a casement window, that means it moves like a door swings, or in up-down, we call them up-down sashes. There's old-fashioned windows that slide up and down that are attached to window weights, but now they're attached to springs. So he's asking me, why, how do I do it? Why can't I find anything in it? So, let's see what time. Well, it was in the afternoon when I wrote this. So I was pretty lucid, but I should have been, I have a thing. I should not answer some of these questions in the morning because I'm a morning person, but if I, how can I say this? My tolerance level is lower in the morning. So I don't tolerate a lot of things in the morning. My answer was, my initial guess is that no one has taken the time to curate the information. All right. So that's not the answer he wants to hear, but that's the answer. That's the question he asked. Why can't I find anything on the internet? All right. So that's a teaching moment, by the way. I talk about teaching moments a lot. And from another ham operator about 8 years ago, maybe 7, I got, he's a salesman, and he's a smart guy, very high pressure. But one of the sayings he says a lot, and I never really thought about it, I didn't think about it actively, but his saying is, the power is in the question. Think about that. The power is in the question. In this case, Dean asked the wrong question. He said, why can't I find anything? Well, I could have answered it a bunch of ways. Like I could have said snarky. I could have been said, well, Dean, maybe you're not looking hard enough. Maybe you found the page, but you didn't understand it. I mean, I could come up with a bunch of smart aleck responses. And maybe the information doesn't exist. Like I could have also said, maybe you didn't go to YouTube. Maybe there's 100 reasons. But what Dean should have asked is, how are window sashes made? Because I'm thinking that's what he wants to do. In other words, how, and so that's not too hard, because you're just making a frame, and then you just take a rabbet and you just rabbet out that L channel where the glass goes. But that's not what he asked. So you always have to think about the question that you're asking. You got to ask the right question. Got to ask the right question. All right, I'm going to get, oh, look here. All right. I'm getting caught up. Hey, Steve, glad you're here. Yes, I'll answer Steve's question. Oh, it's not really a question. Yes, it is a question. I am absolutely looking forward to Friday. We're doing the Zoom call then. It's going to be a lot of fun. At this point, I have about 7 people on the list who want to do it. We're going, and I'll just say this real quickly. If we're going to do a Zoom call, it was Steve's idea. Steve lives in the UK, near London, and what's going to happen on the Zoom call is, it could be like no holds barred. I mean, who knows what we're going to talk about? Who knows who's going to say what? You might be offended. too bad. My advice to you as I start the Zoom call will be, if you've not brought a fruit roll up and a juice box and a coloring book to the Zoom call, might be a good idea if you've got thin skin. Right. So just be prepared for that. And of course, if you don't like what's going on, you just disconnect. You just leave the meeting. So it's going to be completely different than what I do here on the live stream. We'll talk about anything, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And I think we're going to end up having quite a few more of them. If you want to be part of the Zoom call, you have to go to my website, askthebuilder.com. You have to go to the Ask Tim page. You have to fill it out. Make sure your email address is correct. Double check it. And then you have to put in the comment area like, hey, Tim, I want to be part of the live stream Zoom call. And I'll know what to do. Because what I'm going to do is on Thursday, I'll wait and I will send out the invitation, the Zoom link. Please don't be offended. Yeah, Lorraine, I know you want to be there. I know I've got your email address. If not, I'll look it up, but I know I have yours because you and I talked about your fireplace. So I've got you. But anyway, please don't be offended. Steve says, well, there's going to be some people who are offended. It's so what? It is what it is. It's just a Zoom call. There's no money involved. Why would people get upset? There's no money involved. Oh boy. What did I want to say? So, like I said, it's amazing. Everybody has no problems with their homes. I'm loving it. I love it. So we're going to go back. I'm trying to think if there's anything that happened over the weekend that you need to know about. Well, one thing that happened this morning is we switched over to a different theme in the stain solver shopping cart, and it's very sleek and very clean, and it's very compliant. I think you know what I'm talking about. And we're doing the same thing with the Ask the Builder shopping cart, although it's much harder because there are many, many more products. And my virtual assistant is working on that tomorrow, but we started on that project today. I think it's going to take a couple of weeks, but I'm also in the process of making the Ask the Builder site very compliant. The stain solver site we made compliant last week. And I'm also starting on doing all kinds of other revisions at the Ask the Builder website that should really help bring more awareness to the site and make it easier to understand things. So that's what I'm doing the whole next few months. It's a big project. Let's get caught up. Yes, Steve says it will only be words and opinions. That's exactly right. It's exactly right. Well, some may be, I have a saying about opinions. Maybe I've said it here. Bringing an opinion to I shouldn't say an argument, but let's just call it a spirited discussion. Bringing an opinion to a spirited discussion is like bringing a rubber knife to a gunfight. So, facts win the day, in a spirited discussion. So bring facts. Anyway, but we're going to have fun on that call. The Zoom call is not, I don't want it to be confrontational. I don't want it to go off the rails. On a very selfish level, I'll just say this right away. You have the benefit of seeing me every day on the live stream. You know a lot about me. I know nothing about you. I know a little bit about some of you. So I am going to be so interested to hear your elevator speech, your 3 minutes of who you are. That I would find that fascinating, but I don't know if it's going to happen, but that's what I hope happens. I just want to know. I want to know about you. You already know about me. Okay, here we go. I don't know that I remember getting that email, Lorraine. You better resend that. I don't remember getting an email at all about blowing in insulation. And I check my spam regularly. I will go back. I'll tell you what I'll do after the live stream ends. I will go back. I'll find the fireplace email. And then within Gmail, I can do a search on your email address. And it could have dropped into another folder. So I'll look for it. So don't send me it again until I look after the live stream. Oh, you bought Stain Silver over the weekend. Good for you. Thank you. Thank you for buying Stain Silver. Here we go. Chewy. Chewy's got frozen pipes. Should I put the black foam wrap or the heated coils? I had a personal experience with heat tape, and if you don't put it on right, you can burn a house down. You have to be really, really careful with the heat tape, is all I can tell you. What you ought to consider doing is that if this is a chronic problem, that water line that freezes, you might want to replace it with PEX. PEX is a plastic plumbing pipe, and PEX will not burst when it freezes. Now, the problem is if the line is freezing and you can't take a shower or you can't flush a toilet, that's problematic. You need to fix the line so it's not going to freeze anymore. And I would never use heat tape. One of the tricks that we used to use is if we had to do things on outside walls or where we think things were going to be a problem, I would actually put the pipe in such a way that it was in direct contact with either the underside of the floor or the wall, the drywall, because, direct contact, just like, I'll show you. Like if this is the wall, I'm trying to hold it and get my head out of the way. If this is the wall and this is a pipe, I would put it so that pipe was touching the back of the drywall. All right, why? Because unless it gets really, really cold, really cold, the drywall should always be above 32. The drywall, even, because the insulation's on the other side, the drywall itself could be 60 degrees if it's 0 outside. That means if you have the pipe in contact with the drywall, touching it, that pipe, there's a really good chance the pipe's going to be 55 degrees or 60 degrees. That's one way to prevent it. All right. Here we go. Steve, just to let you know. Oh, no way, man. Are you telling me the truth? Over in the UK, is that true? That is great news, man. That's what I've been saying for 2 years. Did you read my letter? Oh, I think I sent it to you. Did you read my How to Grow Mushrooms letter to the editor? Correct. Okay, Chewy, got it. All right, so Chewy, the thing is, heat tape is the last thing to use. It's too dangerous. It's too dangerous to use. I just hate it. And if you talk to your local fire department, like a captain, not a regular roughneck. The roughnecks are just the regular firefighters. You need to talk to a captain or the assistant chief or a lieutenant. They'll tell you heat tape, bad. Because they've been to house fires where the houses have burned down because of heat tape. Will says NyQuil advertisers take care of the same symptoms as Omicron. It's true. Lorene says, I want to try it on the watermarks on the cabinet island where it looks like they had water at one point. I don't know that it's going to work for that. You need to send me photos of that, Lorene. There's 100 other things around your home you're going to use stain solver on and have fantastic results. Send me a photo of that watermark and I'll help you out. You're welcome, Chewy. Good. You read the mushroom letter. Good. Steve is here. Steve Pawn Productions. I didn't get the vaccine. Yes, me neither. I don't need the vaccine because I've got immunity far better. I had COVID. It doesn't get any better than that. Stain solver. Yep, stain solver. Good stuff. Here's a little bottle of it. Stain solver. Good stuff. All right. Yeah, it's I had it pretty bad. I mean, I was pretty sick for about 4 or 5 days, and then my wife figured out how to get me well. If you want to know what my wife gave me for medication, because my doctor didn't do a thing, worthless, worthless. Go to askthebuilder.com, type in COVID in the search engine. Askthebuilder.com, type in COVID, slide down. It's a long page, and Kathy, my wife, wrote the section about all the drugs, and you need to pay attention to where she's talking about quercetin and zinc. Quercetin begins with the letter Q. I am not here tomorrow or Wednesday. That's sad. That makes me sad that you're not going to be here. Okay. All right. I got it. I understand. You won't send the picture until late in the week. That's fine. Not a problem. I just understand this, Lorene. Anytime you want to use Stain Solver, it's always best to email me and let me know what you're trying to do. Send a photo, and I'll tell you exactly what to do. The odds are we've got a page at the website that shows you exactly what to do. So, but let me always, I don't want you to ruin anything. I mean, odds are Stain Solver is not going to ruin a thing. It's just that you need to know up front that Stain Solver does not get rid of hard water stains. It does not get rid of rust. There are two different ways to get rid of that. But so just send me the photos. We'll see. Steve wants to know: do they solder gas copper pipes, or is it considered? Yeah, they. You're here in the United States. You're not allowed to solder gas lines. No, you can braze them. And brazing is solder is here, brazing is here, and welding is here. So brazing is a much stronger bond. What's better to do, in my opinion, I've had to do brazing before, but because that was in the spec, and I disagreed with it. What I would always do, if I have to connect two pieces of copper gas line together, I'm telling you right now, I'm doing it with a flare fitting. You cannot get any better than a flare fitting, and it's so easy to do. It's so easy to flare soft copper, and when you do it right and you tighten that nut, it's not only is it not going to leak. If you try to stretch the copper, you actually make the flare connection stronger. That's why we use flare fittings when we connect the soft copper water line that goes from the city water main up into the house. That always has to be a flare fitting. Their flare fittings they're bulletproof. Bulletproof. That's a great question, by the way. That is such a great question. Great question. All right. Drink time. What else did I want to tell you? There was something else on my mind. Drives me nuts. Oh, well, this is a little minor thing. I noticed a week ago, I think I may have mentioned this. It got really cold here. I went out to start my truck. Yeah, in fact, because I did a live stream about it. The battery had died. I used that power pack to get the truck started. Well, the battery died. Then I tried to start the truck yesterday afternoon, and done. So I had to get a new battery today. Lucky it was still partly under warranty. They prorated it, but it was. So anyway, new battery today. So I'm good to go for another 4 years. You never heard of flare fittings? Well, Steve, that doesn't surprise me. I mean, there's so much in the home improvement world. And what's really interesting is that, and this, I know this won't surprise you. You do things, your builders and remodelers do things completely differently over in the UK than we do things here. And that's okay. Because, for example, if you happen to know this, if you really want a really interesting conversation, if you happen to know over in the UK an electrician, and you ask him, what do you think of the way that the Yankees do it, or whatever you call us? I don't know. What do you call us? There has to be some slang word you call us. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But anyway, I'm telling you right now, the UK electricians, they come and watch my videos, and they're like, no way would that work here in the UK, blah 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 blah, yet but it's just really, I find that interesting because I know they're smart guys, and that if what we were doing here was unsafe and a fire hazard, it wouldn't be allowed. We would have thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands of homes burning down every day, but that's not what happens. But it's just that you do things a lot differently. So, but I would have to believe that flare fittings over in the UK are they're everywhere. I would have to believe that. Here we go. Let's see. All right, Lorraine, I can't. Let's see. Here's your plumbing topic. When we had our water pipe break, I had a flow sensor put in. It was solid, sold with the old house. Do you have any opinion on those types of devices? Yes. If what you're talking about is the systems that have an automatic shutoff, they're great as long as they work. Uponor, that company, it's Uponor. They debuted one about 3 years ago at the Builder Show. I have not seen it. I don't know if they have subsequently had some production problems with it. But if what we're talking about, these are really interesting things. They are an automatic valve that's down near where the water line comes into the home. It's computer controlled, and it starts to memorize as you normally use your plumbing fixtures. It memorizes how you use water, which is a good thing. And so if all of a sudden, for example, I'll give you an example. Let's just say you attach one of these to a home where, it's a family, a large family. And let's say everybody has to go to work and go to school at the same time. So everybody's up at 6 a.m, and it's a 4-bathroom house. Everybody's taking a shower. So a lot of water is going through the water line from 6 until 6:30. So the computer goes, wow, 6 to 6:30, man, Monday through Friday. A lot of people using water. Okay, I'll remember that. And, but if all of a sudden at 3:30, let's just say 2 in the afternoon, when only the housewife might be home, everybody else is at work or school, let's just say ordinary family. All of a sudden a ton of water starts going through the line, through the pipe past this meter, it goes, wait a minute. I have never seen this much water go through at this time of day. It goes, you know what? We're going to shut the water line down. So it immediately stops the water flow, which is good for you if you're not home, and it prevents all this water damage. And then you can use, an app on your phone. You can manually override it. You can open up the valve. So if that's what you're talking about, it's a good idea. Yes, you just said. So let me get caught up on the comments. Anyway, my opinion is they're very good, Lorraine. Steve says, because of YouTube, I tend to learn more about American things than I do British things. I wonder, that's a really interesting comment. I mean, I know that there are many more of us, 330 million people in America. I don't know what the population of the UK is. I'm going to take a guess. I'm just taking a wild guess. I'm going to guess that the population of London is maybe 6 million people. And you've got some other big cities, Liverpool and, I don't know, Manchester, a bunch of other ones. So I'm going to say the population of the UK is 30 million. I don't know. I could be wrong. Well, I don't know. The UK means everybody. So I think, does the UK mean, see how embarrassed I am? Does the UK mean Scotland and Ireland too? Then it's going to be more, but maybe not more than 50 million total. I don't know. So it could be that we just have so many more people here making videos than you in the UK. Because I have to admit, I've not seen a lot of English videos now that you mention it. That's very interesting. 70 million. So I was close. Oh, I was not close. Not close. London, 8 million. Holy tomato. I know. Ask Alexa. Oh, she'll wake up. I'm looking over at her. Go back to bed, you tart. She's a trollop anyway. She is such a trollop. Give me a break. I hate her some days. I hate everything about her. All righty. Lorene says you can turn it off on your phone. That's correct. And they monitored it, and it worked when we ran the outside hose. Correct. Steve says, like your donut wax ring. Exactly. We don't have them. That's really interesting. Yes. You know what? Now that you say that, I'm going to go try to find, unless you know where one is, I would love to watch a YouTube video of how the British plumbers put in a toilet. I would love to see that. I know she will. I'm not going to have her do it. She tells the worst jokes. Everything about her is bad. She's a trollop. I'm telling you, she is. She's a tramp. So I don't want to deal with her. The only thing she's good for me, I have her set alarms for me so that when I've got something coming up and I have to be on a Zoom call or whatever, I'll set an alarm for 2 minutes before. Whatever. Here's the problem. I don't trust the information from her. Look at the source of the information. So if you ask about something, are you getting the truth? I doubt it. Okay, I'll do that. I'll do it. Let's see what happens. Alexa, where is Siri today?
I don't know that one.
She's such a dolt. I mean, she just says, I don't know about that one. I don't know that one. She's a liar. See what I mean? She knows who Siri is. Siri's her number one competitor. Siri's this gorgeous drop-dead blonde, and she's probably, some washed-out dishwater brunette or something, for all I know. Don't get offended, ladies. Did you see, Will, are you still here? Will, did you, thank you, Steve, for that link. I'm going to watch that. Hey, Josh, how you doing? Did you like in the newsletter yesterday where I teased people? I haven't looked at the clicks yet on that, but I teased people to watch that or go to that page on my website where the music for a found harmonium, where I talked about that gorgeous ginger, that tall ginger with the black dress and the pearls. I mean, I have to think that just about every male subscriber said, I'm going to go look at the ginger. And some women too, like, why does Tim think a ginger looks so attractive? Wasn't that great? I love doing that. I love everything about that. I love doing that, But she, just so you know, in my opinion, there we are, Steve, opinions. She was a beautiful woman. She was a beautiful young woman. And she knew how to play the flute. I'm sure that was a flute. That was not because a cello is a smaller instrument, much smaller. And then I think even a piccolo is smaller than that. I don't know. But I'm pretty sure she was playing the flute. She did a pretty good job on that. So anyway, I know I put that. I tried to be as, and then of course I had to put in the line how I'm sure all my women subscribers look great in a black dress, because I'm sure they do. I'm sure there's something about a black dress. I'm telling you, black is a really interesting color when you think about it. So, anyway, crutch word, the Zoom call on Friday. Start thinking about the Zoom call. Start thinking about how we can get the most out of it. I think I could swear I have an unlimited account. I'm going to check that tomorrow. If I don't, then I think we're allowed, the call would get cut off. Then we'll just have to start another one. We'll have to jump back on. Because I know that the call is going to go more than 40 minutes. Speaking of ginger, do you remember the Handy Goddess on YouTube? I do not. Steve's going to wear a black dress. That would be hilarious. I may go to the local. You know what? I may go to town. We have a consignment shop in town. It's really an amazing shop. It really is. I mean, the lady has been doing it, I think, for 40 years, and I've bought clothes there before. I had to buy a white shirt for the Boston Marathon. It's a long story. As a ham radio operator, they wanted you to wear a white shirt, and so some airline pilot had brought in his shirts because it had the it had the I don't know what you call them. It had those pieces of material with a button where they slide their I don't know what you call it. Epitaph. I don't know. It's a weird word. To see, you can tell the rank of whether it's the pilot or the first officer, because the pilots have 4 stripes, first officers have 3. And so I know there's black dresses there. I know I could go there and find a black dress from a woman. I may do that. Yes, that's it. That's what I was looking for. Thank you, Lorene. Yes, 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 yes. Will, mine's at the cleaners. How funny, all of us men would wear black dresses. The last time I wore a dress was at my daughter's grade school. It's got to go back 20 years ago, 25 years ago, maybe. I was in the dunking booth. So I wore a dress, and that was pretty funny. Anyway, I prefer flouncy skirts myself. That's skirts. Skirts are amazing. All right. So I got to save these YouTube videos. I'm going to definitely come back and see these videos. Yeah, golf charity. So it's fun. Yeah, it's fun to dress up. I mean, I have no shame. I would, if there was a charity event or just a fun, like a party, like if I was going to a party, a costume party, I wouldn't hesitate. If they said they want the men to dress like women and the women to dress like men, I would do it. Not a problem. I don't, I wouldn't be very good at putting makeup on. All right. I don't know what else to say. I'm kind of out of stuff to say today. Steve, you weren't here earlier. I talked very briefly. I had a really good phone call just before the live stream with an attorney about the stain solver lawsuit. And last week we made everything's compliant at stain solver now. Everything's fine. We're now working on Ask the Builder, and there's not many problems in Ask the Builder, but it was a really good phone call. And I've also got my insurance company involved. I just thought of that Friday night. Like, are you kidding me? We've got this huge insurance policy. Surely it covered. And what the policy's for is in case somebody's harmed by stain solver. And that's what the claim of this lawsuit is, that this woman claims she was harmed. Anyway, we'll see what the insurance company says. Burkas, no, not wearing a burqa. Not doing it. Are you kidding me? The women, are you kidding me? What is wrong with them? Well, yeah, it's going to be that stain solver lawsuit. What's going to happen? Here's all you need to know. The bottom line from the call with the attorney is the people fold their tent up right away. That this woman, as soon as the attorney sends her a letter saying, okay, we've been retained by stain solver and we're going to depose you in 3 weeks, that people do not want to be deposed. Because what happens in a deposition, I've been deposed countless times. I mean, a deposition is, if you don't know what that is, Steve, it's a formal question answer session with a party or with an expert to the lawsuit. And what happens is the attorneys do all of this. It's a preemptive move long before the trial. And what they do is they use the depositions to ask people very pointed questions that will later, if they answer them, no matter how they answer them, later on in the trial, it's going to bite them in the butt. And if you don't know how to answer questions in a deposition, it's over. You're done. And so this woman knows that because the attorney's already done it with her before. So he's just going to write this letter and she's just going to fold her tent up and collapse. So that's what's going to happen. But it's going to cost me a little money, or it's going to cost the insurance company a little money to get the attorney to write the letter. All right. So that's where we are. Dr. Trollman. That's a great screen name. What is the grossest thing you've seen inside walls? Well, in all honesty, that would be dead animals. Happens all the time, where there might be the electrician has drilled a hole in an interior wall, like in a top plate, to maybe run a wire, or a plumber has, but they decide they're not going to use it, and they don't patch it. And so mice or red squirrels will get into the house, and they'll either fall into the hole, or whatever, and they fall down to the bottom of the wall, and there's no way out. They just die. So that would be the grossest sound. Oh yeah, she does exist. This woman does exist. Yes. Yep, she exists. So that would be the grossest thing I found in walls. I found a bunch of really interesting things in walls. I'll say this really quickly. I found really valuable old beer bottles, like 125-year-old beer bottles, in a house in Cincinnati. Um, one of the things that I found, it was kind of gross, I guess, but it was really dangerous. Back in the 1950s, we used to put medicine cabinets in a bathroom wall. Excuse me. And there was a little slit in the back of the medicine cabinet where the men and the women, they would have razors, to shave with or shave their legs, and it would have those very dangerous razor blades. And so you were, instead of putting the razor blade in the garbage can, where you could, if somebody reached in their hand and it could get cut, you would always drop the razor blade into that slot, and it would just disappear in the wall. Well, I tore apart this one wall one day. There must have been 1,000 razor blades in this wall. Crazy. Like, whoa. So I wouldn't say that was gross, but pretty dangerous. All right. So anyway, Lorraine says, when they replaced the living room windows, they found dead toads in the wall. Yeah, animals all the time. So, but what happens, the animals, they die, they get desiccated, the water leaves their body, and, generally you just see the skin. It's not that gross, but some people are grossed out by it. Yeah, Jason says, I found a petrified cat under a house. Yep, that could happen. Oh, that's interesting. How come you have red and gray squirrels in the grays? So here in New Hampshire, boy, I should get a video of it. So Kathy loves to feed the birds, and she likes to feed the squirrels. And so the reds and the grays, are out there all day. And these little red squirrels, they're only about, I don't know, maybe a third of the size or the weight, I would think, of a gray. And they are so feisty. I mean, they will run a gray off, man. It's crazy. I just but not all the grays. Some of the grays won't put up with it. But those little red squirrels, man, they're bad at. They're like what am I trying to think of? The really aggressive, like mongoose. It's I can't think of it what it is. It doesn't matter. But we have brown and black squirrels and pineys here. I don't know what a piney is. I'll have to look that up. Oh, I see. Jason says, I think the red ones are called pineys. Okay. But I saw a bunch of red squirrels out here today in my driveway. I had scattered Kathy had some nuts that had gone stale. She was going to throw them away. I said, no, man, let me have them. I said, the squirrels will like them. And right now it's really tough for the squirrels here. I don't see how they survive all winter in New Hampshire and in Maine. I'll be honest with you. Because, a month ago we got our cover snow and there's nothing. I mean, they can't get to the ground. So they have to scavenge. I mean, they're just eating twigs or whatever they can find on top of the snow. I mean, it's horrible. But by gosh, they live. No, it wasn't a Fisher cat. It was I'm so embarrassed. I can't think of the name. Some other animal that is they're just badasses. Oh, Steve, when will the bears wake up? I would say here in New Hampshire, probably middle of April, because that's about when the snow goes away and we start to get some warmer days. It can still be cold in April. I mean, I've got a video on YouTube of me standing up in my cul-de-sac. It was, I think if you type snow be gone, SNOW, then BE, then GONE, you can find it. But it was, I was so angry this day. It was April, like April 4, I don't know, middle of April, and still snow and ice around, cold, 20 degree. It was horrible. I was so angry. But they'll be, I'd say middle of April. Chipmunks. They have to be hibernating, Will. It's like somebody just wrote. They've got to be. All right, Dr. Trollman, you have got some great questions, Commander. Great questions. What is the tool that you bought years ago but never once used? Well, I don't know that I have one of those. I think every tool I've ever bought, I've used. There have been tools that I've gotten to review that I don't use hardly at all. But that's probably only because I'm not out building every day. For example, I got a track saw that from DeWalt, and it's a special saw that fits in a track. I mean, you clamp the track to the wood, and it cuts a perfectly straight line. So it's basically like a table saw, But it's really a pain in the butt to use. But if you have to have a straight cut on a piece of plywood, it's the tool to use. They also make just simple clamp glides that you can use your regular saw and glide along and get the same thing done. Except if you don't start it off right, and you have a little waver, like if you're not holding the saw just right, the saw cut won't be perfect. Whereas the other one, where the saw rides in the track, it's going to be a perfectly straight cut. 2013, we had snow on the ground in London. I can believe that. I mean, heck, it's in all the versions of Scrooge, which I think Scrooge was based in London. It always seems like on Christmas Eve and Christmas morning in London, and all the versions of Scrooge, it's snowing. So I know you do get snow there. But yeah, I haven't seen the chipmunks are hibernating. They're a menace here in New Hampshire. They're just everywhere. Those little guys, and they chitter so much. Crazy. That's all right. No problem, Steve. Anyway, Dr. Truman, yes, that's a great question. Have I ever worked with someone who used drugs? Yes. He wasn't employed by me, but there was a young man who had been an addict, and he actually went to jail for it. But then he recovered, and he had gotten addicted to OxyContin, and got into the opioids, and he came clean. Nice young guy up in Maine, up in Bar Harbor, and so they're horrible. The drugs are horrible. Everything about them is bad. Jason, we finally got snow here this weekend. So Jason, where was that? Can you just tell us, just the state where you live? I don't know where that would be. Lorraine, Steve, remember the fluffy snow in 2009? I was there during that. Oh, interesting. So you want to know while we were working? No. Dr. Trollman wants to know, have I worked with someone who used drugs while working? No. Well, that's a great question. The answer is maybe. In other words, nobody who worked for me, but there definitely could have been subcontractors who were using drugs while we were working. Absolutely. But I think the problem is much worse now than it used to be when I was doing it. You got to remember, I haven't been building for a profession for 28 years. I think the drug problem is much, much worse now, because I talked to I talk to other employers and they tell me how hard it is to find somebody who can pass a drug test. We didn't have drug testing back when I was doing it. I mean, it wasn't mandatory. Yeah. We have a pileated woodpecker around here that hangs around. He's here every now and then. We got a lot of great birds around here, even in the winter. I just saw them like 3 weeks ago. So, all right, I'm going to get out of here. My youngest daughter, she gets home tomorrow. She got the job offer. It's crazy, man, what she's going to be doing. Crazy. I'm so proud of her. It's just crazy. I just cannot believe what she's going to be doing. All right, so we'll probably talk about it on the Zoom call. I prefer not to talk about it here. So if you ask me, I'm not gonna tell you. All right, Lorraine, be safe if you're traveling, if you're out working. Be safe. I intend to be here every day, and then as I said, I will go as soon as I get off here. I'm going to go look for that email that you sent, and I'll use your email address from the fireplace and reach out to you to try to train Gmail. So anyway, okay. Thanks everybody for being here. Will, Lorraine, Jason, Steve, Dr. Trollman. Great questions, man. Great questions. I think we get a little snow here tomorrow, Will, not much. Oh, tomorrow might be a little problematic for me. I'm having something done in the morning I've never had done before. So my right wisdom tooth up here is getting yanked tomorrow. I've never had a tooth pulled. I've taken always really good care of my teeth, but we had a problem with the back of it, and a month ago, and the dentist said, "Look, we could try to. If it's going to keep breaking." Blah. I just said, "Why don't we just get rid of the damn thing?" He said, "Good idea." So they're going to. So I don't know how uncomfortable I'm going to be tomorrow. My wife has had it done twice years ago, and Kathy doesn't cut me any slack. She says, "Don't be a baby." That's how she said, "Don't be a baby." She said, "You're going to be fine." So anyway, that's what happens when you've been married to somebody 47 years. I mean, you just don't cut them any slack. I mean, she's a great woman. I wish you could meet her. I'm so lucky. I really am. Wow. Okay. I'll be here tomorrow. Hopefully, if I'm not here, that's why, because it didn't go very well. But let's hope I'm here. I'll tell you all about it afterwards. And then Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, it's a Zoom call. All right. Thanks so much for being here. Steve, Jason, Will, Lorraine, Steve, good night, buddy. I cannot wait to see you on Friday. It's going to be so amazing. Exactly. If I'm not live tomorrow, you know that I'm not feeling well. But I'm a tough guy. I don't anticipate any trouble. I've got no fear. What's important is I have no fear going in. I don't. How hard could it be? I mean, I'm actually kind of interested in it to see how they do it. So anyway, okay. Good night. Thanks for being here. Good night, mate. Good night, Steve. Good night, Will. Everybody have a great evening, and we'll have some fun tomorrow. And life couldn't be any better. This year, it's going to be a great year, by the way. For all of us, it's going to be a great year. Could be our best ever. I just feel it. I feel it in my bones. I'm out of here. I will be here tomorrow, hopefully. I'm Tim Carter. You've been watching Ask the Builder, and we were streaming live. It was a lot of fun. We cover a lot of different ground. I should be here tomorrow.